What's up, YouTube? Bay Area Baller back again. It's the off season, and I'm talking all things 49ers related. Stay tuned. What's up, YouTube? Baller back again, joined by No Borders Sports, aka Crypto Ryan. What's up, Crypto?
What up, man? How you?
Hey, I'm doing good, feeling good. It's the off season. It can be a slow time for some, news, but hey, we got some topics. There's some things we want to talk about, and let's not beat around the bush, Crypto. I want to talk about these pass rushers, right? Because we know Nick Bosa, he's right up top. He's the cream of the crop within the NFL at the pass rushing position. You know, he's top 3, top 5, in my opinion. But I want to know, Crypto, who are you thinking is going to be that number 2 guy? Who's going to be kind of that second or maybe that third guy who's going to bolster the pass rush after Nick Bosa?
So I got a guy in Jordan Willis. I mean, I think building on what he did last year, I think he's got confidence, and I think with the team rallied behind him and knowing that the team's rallied behind him, I think he's going to go out there and he's going to pick on some people. And yeah, I think he could have a great year. I mean, he could have a way better year than last year real easily. I think the potential's there. You got Coach K putting him in a good position always. You know what I mean? So I think he's got nothing but up.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jordan Willis, you may or may not know, this guy was a freak at the NFL Combine. I mean, we're talking, he ran a 4.53 40-yard dash. He had a 39-inch vertical jump. I mean, his attributes are just off the chart. And I don't think he's getting enough attention because, yeah, we know he came up huge in the playoffs with the blocked field goal and or the blocked punt, but he's also got some pass rushing potential that I think he's ready to show off. We know Kosirik is coaching him up, and I thought he really kind of came on strong towards the end of the year, you know, along with like Omena, who finished strong. And we know even Ebukam, really, that whole defensive line got better as the season went along. And I'm with you because Jordan Willis, this guy's got some tools. He's big, he's fast, he's strong.
He's crafty too. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not he's crafty, but he's very decisive with his hand movements and with his steps, and that gets him into good position. That's what I've seen from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, hands are a big thing with me. When I'm watching pass rushers, it's about that hand usage. Right when the offensive line punches you, you got to swipe. And, I've seen the acceleration, and but I want to see his hand use, and I want to see really how it goes along for a full season.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, kind of want everybody to buy his jersey so he gets all hyped up thinking everybody's behind him, and he goes out and just burns everybody, and because he's a beast, because finally people believe in him. You know what I mean? I think that was his downfall. I think in all the other places he was supposed to be this big stud, and I don't think he was put in a situation where he was able to do what he needed to do. And so he got inside him, got down on himself and turned inside. And you know what I mean? That's not good for anybody. That's not healthy for anybody. So I think he's kind of coming back out here. And I think,
hey, let me tell you, Crypto, because I got his stats pulled up. 2017, he was with the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 1 sack that year. 2018, still with the Bengals, 1 sack, right? 2019, he goes to the Jets, plays 9 games, 1 sack, right? Comes to the 49ers, 2021. Last year, he had 3 sacks. So, he produced the same amount that he had his previous 3 years,
Yep.
So it's
And
like
1
the
year.
49ers, it's already showing that Chris Kosirik and this team can really bolster the pass rush. Anytime you got Nick Bosa on the other side getting double teamed, that's going to help things out.
As long as we so another guy I'd like to talk, he's not necessarily a pass rusher, but Javon Kinlaw. Everybody, is like, oh, he's not good at pass rushing or this, that. I don't need him to pass rush. I need him to shoot in the gap, command a double team, and make them have to double team him, and then I need him to stop the run. That's what I need.
Yeah.
That's what I need out of Javon Kinlaw. That's all I need. He doesn't have to get sacked.
But here's the thing, though. Crypto. When you draft a defensive lineman in the top 15, it's not just to stick them in there and stuff up the run. Like, you get those guys maybe round 2, like you get a good run stuffer, just space eater round 2, round 3, not in the top 15. That guy needs to get after the quarterback.
Yes
In
and no.
my opinion. No.
Yes and no.
There's no doubt. No. For me, there's no yes and no. If you're drafting a pass rusher in top 15, the guy's got to get after the quarterback.
Okay, so if you can leave him in all 3 downs and he can stop the run essentially single-handedly with nothing but pass rushers all around him, and he can command a double team on a pass play on 3rd and long because you stuffed him on the run, you're telling me that's not worth a 1st-round pick?
No, you can get run stuffers round 2, round 3, guys that weigh 315, 320, and you can't move them. You want to get Danny Shelton? He's a free agent. You can go out and get Danny Shelton. The guy's 340 pounds.
Okay, but does he command a double team?
I mean, guys like that, it's just about standing in the right gap to command a double team.
On a pass play, the quarterbacks can move around. What I'm saying is I don't need him to do all that. I don't. In this defense, I don't. We've got everything else handled. What I need him to do is stop the run and command a double team. With everything else we have on this team, we don't need him to do anything more than that. And if he can just concentrate on that and do that extremely well, we have the best defensive line in all of football. Do you not agree?
I mean, we're up there. We're definitely up there,
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We could disagree on that, I guess, then. I don't see how you can play us every, 3 downs and get anywhere against those guys, especially when you can't do anything behind them. You know what I mean? Not that that's going to necessarily be a shutdown behind them all the time, but you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to be able to sustain a drive. Let's put it like that, because you're gonna need 3rd and longs consistently if he can shut down a run.
And let me tell you what I'm expecting from Kinlaw, because you're right. I'm not expecting these huge sack numbers, but you're right. If he can, play strong in the run game, not being able to give ground when he's getting double teamed, if he's standing his ground, that'll be great. But what I think he's going to do when there is pass rushing opportunities is he might not get the sack, but he's going to push the pocket, where he's going to be pushing that guard who's trying to block him right back into the quarterback, making it difficult for the quarterback to make his reads and go through progressions, forcing the quarterback to step back, which that means Bosa's got an even better angle, right, when the quarterback has to move back. So that's what I'm looking for with Javon Kinlaw. If we're being completely honest, Crypto, I like to tell you stuff that sometimes other 49ers fans would get pissed off at me about. But when we drafted Kinlaw, I was pissed. I didn't like it. I knew about the bad knee. The knee was flagged already before the draft. And not only that, when you're watching him at South Carolina, it wasn't technical. Like, he's big, he's strong, but he's not a technician with his
Nope.
hands.
He's a
And
freak. But everybody
honestly,
in
I didn't see it. I didn't see it being worth a top 15 pick, and I was pissed. And you know what? And let me double down. So in Ayuk, I was low on that pick too. Now it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. I like him. Like, he's not bad. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a solid number 2, but I'm seeing some hype where they people think Ayuk's going to take over Debo's role with Trey Lance coming in, because not the role, but in terms of just yardage, they're thinking Ayuk is going to outgain Debo, and I'm pushing back. I disagree. Like, Ayuk's cool, but he ain't nowhere near on Debo's level.
I guess it would all depend on play calling, I would think. Because if you're going to give – so this is the way I see it. I'm giving Brandon Ayuk the ball deep. I'm giving Debo the ball in the mid. Same thing with Kittle in the mid. Because those guys can break out of those first couple tackles. You know what I'm saying? And that's who needs to be in there, is people can break out of those. Ayuk can break out of one tackle, or he can jump over somebody. You know what I mean? And that's that. So I see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're different roles. And Ayuk, what I want to see with him is I want to see him expand the field. Like, we know we drafted Danny Gray and he's a speed demon. He's going to stretch the field. But I think Ayuk can do some of that too. And we know last year Jimmy missed him a bunch on some deep routes. He was open. But hey, it's Trey Lance season. And I got the new shirt. Peep the new shirt, Crypto. Yeah, that's right. I got the Lance shirt on. Shout out level 500. Send the check. But I'm hyped up. And you're right. You know, Ayuk's going to be able to stretch the field. Lance has a cannon. I'm looking forward to that, because we know this 49ers offense, the last few years, defenses were able to just lock in on the middle of the field, because they know that that's where Jimmy likes to operate. He's not throwing outside the numbers or deep. And, we got a legend in the chat. What's up, Bashar? Thanks for coming by.
What up, Bashar?
And that's where I'm at. But you know what? I want to get to – we're talking pass rushers before that. I want to get back to that, because Kevin Givens, we had a little talk pre-show, and it sounded like we're in a little bit of a disagreement. Let's see how far we are. I mean, what are you thinking about Kevin Givens? Because you know I like him. I'm a Kevin Givens guy.
Look, I don't dislike Kevin Givens. I just don't think if he doesn't show something more this year, like, he's got to get, I would say he's got to get like 5, 6 sacks, maybe more, because he's a pass rusher. He's not the nose tackle. He's a pass
5, 6
rusher.
Sacks as a tackle. I know Arden Key did it last year. I mean, if Givens could do that, that'd be crazy. Okay. I think he's only got 1 sack 2 years into his career.
Let's say 4. Let's say 3 or 4. Okay. I'm saying
it's the pressures too. You know, we look at the sacks because that's easy to see on the stat sheet, but really it's the pressures and it's the disruption. And I had put out a video on Kevin Givens highlighting how he's just impacting plays. He's not getting the sacks, but he's pressuring the quarterback. He's beating offensive linemen instantly.
Which I have no problems with. I'll take pressures just along with sacks, okay? You know what I mean? We could, because it's getting them off their tempo, and it's making them maybe hold the ball more or throw the ball before they needed to. So I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like they're just like a sack, but I count them up high because that is very important. The thing I have an issue is he's been injury prone, and to me, if he can't stay on the field,
I don't think he's been injury prone.
His first year he was injured. It wasn't he? He was on the list almost every week.
You're gonna have to verify that because I don't think so. I'm a big Kevin Givens guy. He was out there playing. Okay. The thing is that the 49ers, they scaled him back. You're thinking of like Mo Hurst missed the whole year last year, defensive tackle, and they're
it's
kind of
the year
similar.
Before that I was thinking.
Okay. Um, I like me some Givens. He's only played about 20% of the snaps. You know, they rotate. That's the thing with Kosirik. He knows we keep our guys fresh. It's a rotation, and that's guaranteed. That's going to continue to happen. We're going to see a rotation of these guys, fresh bodies, because we're double digits deep. We got like 10 good players on this defensive line, and I'm excited about it. You already highlighted Jordan Willis. Yeah, Swan's with me, man. I thought Kinlaw was a reach. And you know, I might get some backlash for that. But
I wasn't like I've never really paid much attention in the draft, so I'm always just kind of like, oh, we got that. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, but
So I want to get to my guy because you touched on Jordan Willis, and I like Kamiko Toure. This guy we got from the Indianapolis Colts. When I'm watching him, this dude's got that acceleration. And I know we drafted Drake Jackson in the second round, and I liked that pick. You know, you can get my reaction on that in a previous video. But just as a veteran move, I really like Kamiko Toure. I thought every year with the Colts, he was getting better. You know, I think he had an injury. It might have been an Achilles. Don't quote me on that. So he missed a chunk of a season. But when he came back last year, he looked good. He was getting after the quarterback. And that's my pick for like who's going to be that second edge rusher opposite Bosa.
Yep.
And I'm thinking it's Kamiko Toure. I'm thinking it's Kamiko Toure. And last year, not to pat myself on the back, I nailed it with Arden Key. I told Grant, I said, Grant, after Bosa, it's going to be Arden Key. And Grant laughed at me and said, no, it's Ebukam. But that's why I've got my props for the Arden Key pick. This year, I'm going Kamiko Toure. He's got the burst. He's got the acceleration. I think he's got some hands. So on third down, opposite Bosa, I'm putting in Toure.
I think Ebukam is only on the team as a quarterback spy. I think that's the only reason why he's really here, because that was the one thing that they really were talking about, why they liked him and why they wanted him, because he's not showing up everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not showing up when he needs to be a pass rusher, so he must be fulfilling the quarterback spy role very well.
You know, and that was something that when we got Ebukam, I was watching him. He is really good at containing mobile quarterbacks. I saw he had a sack against Lamar Jackson when he was with the Rams, and I was like, oh, this guy knows how to contain quarterbacks. And he did get better as the season went along last year, but he doesn't feel like a pure pass rusher. You know what I mean? Like, he's not super bendy. He doesn't have this phenomenal hand use. Like, I like Ebukam. I think he's just a solid player. I think he's a tad overpaid this year. We might be paying like $6 or $8 million for him. I don't know if he's worth that, but I'm not going to say he's not. It is right there. There it is. Swan. I got to read the chat because Swan's already answering questions that I'm proposing.
I thought it was only 6.
Yeah.
I thought it was only 6.
$8 million cap hit. Yeah. But I'm looking for who's going to be that next pass rusher. Omenahu, I feel like Omenahu's more of like a run-based down guy. Not that he can't get after the quarterback, but on a run-based down, I would love having Omenahu in there because he's big, he's strong. And if it is a pass play, I think he can get after it. But pass rushing downs, I'm going to Ray. And then I'm working in my boy Kevin Givens. All right? I like me some Givens.
A 3 technique? Or 1 technique?
3. One's not a premier spot to pass rush.
Or is it a 5 technique? Or do they do the 1 and the 5 or the 3 and the 5? What is it?
Yeah, we're in the 3. DJ Jones was in the 3, and the 3 tech gets double teamed a lot, so that's where it can be difficult. But I mean, Arden Key made it work last year. They were rotating him in there, and Arden Key was still finding ways to get after the quarterback. But let me tell you what I'm thinking with this defense, Crypto. I'm thinking we might be running more man this year. You bring in a Charvarius Ward, Emmanuel Mosley's there, and the nickel. We know there's a big battle going on for the nickel position, but I'm anticipating more man defense, where last year it was a split. We definitely played a split of man and zone. I asked Aponte earlier on an earlier show. I said, what do you think the split was between man and zone? He said it was like 50-50. And I agree with him. I
On
thought
third
it was
down? On
just
third
in
downs
general.
or
Just in general.
oh.
Just in general. Yeah, it
See,
could
I
be
was
first.
saying it was going to be 50-50, and somebody told me I was crazy. And I was like,
Well, we're
okay.
talking about last year. I thought it was
last year.
around 50-50. But this year,
Before last year, I said that.
I'm thinking we're going to more man. Like you work in some zone, but
Yeah.
maybe it's 60-40 or something, something like that. And
So
what I liked, go ahead.
Well, I think this has been writing on the wall ever since the Super Bowl 2019. Personally, that we were going to go more man. It just didn't happen as quick as I thought. But we didn't
You couldn't do it with Sherm. You couldn't do it with Sherm.
Couldn't do it with Sherm, but we also couldn't totally change over our whole secondary to do it in that time. So what we did is we incrementally did that. Like we got Diamador, we got Ambry. You know what I mean? We started, couple pieces at a time, set them on the back burner, let them, and then bring in some more the next year, rotate everybody out. Okay, now we got the family we want.
Swan Song says, why when I walk up on you, Crypto Ryan, your body went cold? I like that. I like
can't listen to
that
the haters, man.
Stop playing with me.
Bro.
Man, good.
Oh,
that's good.
What's crazy?
Fangio's defense. Swan's bringing up Fangio's defense, and we know he showed up to the OTAs. Fangio's showing up to OTAs. Yo, if D'Amico does get a head coaching job, which we would then get another draft pick, the 49ers have been working this compensation picks like phenomenally, just getting picks all over. One for Saleh, one for McDaniel, one for this guy. It's like, dude, we're getting picks out the yin yang because dudes are hiring our minority coaches. And D'Amico's next in line. If D'Amico's gone, Vic Fangio, that'd be a hell of a guy. I'd be calling him up. Vic, get in here. Excuse me. But the only thing is that Vic runs more of a 3-4 scheme. That's just kind of what he does, right? So who would have to adapt? Is Vic going to adapt to our personnel, or will we have to kind of tweak some things a little bit there?
I don't want Nick Bosa dropping back into coverage. You know what I'm saying?
Never.
I don't want.
Never. I agree with you. I don't.
At no point do I want our stud pass rushers ever dropping into pass coverage. So look,
hey,
the
tell
wide
that
nine
to USC because they kept dropping Drake Jackson in coverage. When I was watching his USC tape, I was getting so frustrated. It's like they're having this guy cover the flat. I'm like, dog, what are you doing with your best pass rusher? Let him eat.
So the way I see it is the wide nine is essentially a 4-3, except for a 4-3.
Yeah.
A 3-4, except for you got three linebackers in the back. You know what I'm saying? Because it's wide enough. Okay. So if you got
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's so wide, it's almost like a 3-4 because they're spreading
if you got the
out.
personnel that can handle it, why not just roll with that? And then you got more people, you got linebackers you can drop into pass coverage, especially our linebackers are damn near like corners. You know what I mean? So I don't think it would be a hard stretch for him to really get around. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have to worry about like defensive front. Coach K's got that all handled. You know what I mean? He's just got to figure out how the linebackers are going to play with everything else. And you know what I mean? And that's that. It's covered. You know?
Any other pass rushers you wanted to touch on? Because I want to hit running backs. In fact, we talked a lot of pass rushers. Why don't we switch over? Let's go running backs. We know Eli Mitchell, and here was a stat, Crypto, you may not know. I pulled it from PFF on one of their pods. Eli Mitchell had like 250, don't quote me on the number, but it was over 200 plus carries and or catches without a fumble or a drop. And that was number 1 in the NFL. So this dude essentially is what that means is he's secure with the rock. He's not fumbling it and he's not dropping it. And Shanahan, I think that's highly coveted, right? Because we've seen You know, when Breida fumbles like one or two balls, all of a sudden he's in the doghouse. We didn't see him for the rest of the year, and then he's sayonara. He's off the team the next year. So I think Shanahan really values guys who don't turn over the rock.
Yes, but this could be to his detriment. So
tell me that. How can that be a detriment? The guy holds on to the rock. He doesn't cough it up, but it's a detriment. Explain
so who do you start
one.
the game with? Who do you start the game with, and who do you end the game with? Who do you have in on every crucial play that you need to do? Who is every single play? He's the only guy who's going to be getting the ball. He's going to wear down. He's going to be hurt 2, 3, maybe 4 games a season. You know what I'm saying? 1 bye week in a 17-game season. It's not going to be pretty. That's what I'm saying. It might be to his detriment because Kyle, loving somebody who doesn't cough it up, will, you know.
Well, I don't think they're getting complacent with that because they did go out and spend a 3rd-round pick on Ty Davis-Price. So while they know
what's his turnover ratio like?
That I couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is the dude's big. He's physical. He runs hard. But, I mean, if you want to talk turnovers, then you can look at Ray McLeod because he actually did cough up quite a few balls. But I'm high on Ray McLeod. I really like him. I think he's going to kind of steal some slot wide receiver duties from Javon Jennings. I know Javon had great OTAs. I also heard Ray McLeod getting praised during OTAs.
Now, do you really think he'll be stealing his duties? Or because let's face it,
split in time.
Well,
Not
yeah,
like he's going to supplant him, but it's 3rd down. It might depend on what play call Kyle wants to run, who he wants in.
But I think 1st and 2nd down you want Ray in there, and I think on 3rd down you want Javon in there. Because on 1st and 2nd down,
I could make the opposite. Because 1st and 2nd down, I want Javon Jennings in there for run blocking. The dude's bigger, he's stronger. You would theoretically think he's a better run blocker. So I would probably flip that.
Or what you could also do is have Ray in there and Javon on the other side blocking. So when Ray does that sweep, Javon's on the other end blocking for him. See, that's what I'm saying. Like,
but then who you taking off the field at that point? You're taking off Ayuk or you're taking off Debo.
Okay, I'd rather have Debo and Jennings on blocking for Ray than Jennings and Ayuk. You know what I mean?
You're probably right.
So I see Ray as more of the sweep guy. He's going to be the bubble screen 1st and 2nd down, whether it's a pass or it's a handoff. He's going to be there to run the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is. Whether it's a screen pass or a sweep, he's there to run it. And then on 3rd down,
go ahead.
And 3rd down, when you need that, 3 yards or 7 yards or whatnot, you're going to have that big body Javon Jennings who's just going to get it done because he's a dog.
And in the red zone, you definitely want Javon in there.
Yes. And Dwelly, damn it.
That remains to be seen, dude. Dwelly was MIA last year.
Because he wasn't in the game. Because he couldn't block. They didn't put him in the game. Look, on 4th and goal on the 5, I don't care about if you can block. I'm trying to throw that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like,
hooray, beer. Yes, it is, Palmer. Cheers, Crypto.
It's just the cup.
You know what? As soon as you reach for it behind the TV, I was a little skeptical. I was like, behind the TV, that's a spot.
It says working on my dad bod.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah, as soon as you hit 30, man, the dad bod, it punches you in the face. Okay, what other topics I got? Okay, I want to continue with this running back topic.
Yes, we need to.
Because I feel like we talked about how safe Eli Mitchell is, right? He didn't fumble or drop the ball in over 200 carries last season. Number 1 in
RB1.
the NFL. Yeah, in that perspective. The second was like Devontae Freeman, I believe, with the Ravens last year with like 150 consecutive, touches without a drop or a fumble.
You know what splash I wanted? I wanted Fournette.
Oh, you want a big Leonard Fournette?
Yeah. Imagine
I don't know
him.
what.
Imagine
I
him in
don't think we
our
have the
offense.
money to get him though. I don't think we have. Well, he's not going to run the
You
stretch
got the
zone
Rams.
though.
You got the Rams dropping billions off at people's doors, and we've got
I mean, but Fournette's not going to run the stretch zone though. And that's where it's almost like Ty Davis Price is like a mini Fournette. He's not quite Leonard Fournette, although both of them are LSU running backs. But Davis brings that more physical style. And that's what I'm wondering. What's going to be the transition with Anthony Lynn coming in? I know Lynn, he worked with Tyrod Taylor, a mobile quarterback in Buffalo, right? I believe the running back was LeSean McCoy back then. But so, what's his name? Anthony Lynn has worked with mobile quarterbacks. He's going to bring, I think, an inside running element where it's going to be Trey threatening the outside on the read option. And then you got Ty Davis Price, potentially Trey Sermon, another bigger back going up the gut. And it's real quick, Trey Sermon. The guy was a third-round pick last year, was he not? And it's like he couldn't get on the field. He got one shot against the Packers where everyone was hurt, and it was like Sermon was our only guy. And like I thought he did okay. I think he averaged like 3-4 yards a carry. Like he wasn't horrendous, but we never saw him after that.
What about that one game where he comes in for like the first time the whole game? He does like a 10-yard run, breaks like a tackle, and as he comes over, somebody hits him all cheap and nasty, knocks him out. He fumbles the ball, and he's out for the rest of the couple of games. I thought that was so bad. Like, because I can't fault him for any of that. He got hit nasty, like it looked bad.
Oh, yeah, when he caught that forearm to the dome. He got knocked out. Yeah.
Yeah, he got knocked out. And like I got mad for it. Like I got mad for a second. I was like, man, you fumbled. And then I seen what happened. I was like, oh, never mind. I'll shut up because you know what I mean? Like how can you blame a man for doing anything in that situation other than
that's like when Whitner knocked out Pierre Thomas and then Pierre Thomas just like dropped the ball. And it was like the dude, he was legitimately knocked out, just like laying there. But
there's no exercises.
The NFL was a little different, dog. We could pop you. Deshaun Goldson, Dante Hittner, lighting dudes up. Man, those were fun days. I can't believe that team didn't get a Super Bowl, Crypto. Like, it's beyond
Can't believe they didn't get a couple attempted murder charges.
I mean, there were quite a few arrests. A few arrests from that team.
You remember who was it? It was
Bruce
Patrick
Miller
Willis.
attacked some dude and like
Patrick Willis came across the guy's front as a Jets player. He goes boom like this and then does a strut afterwards as the Jets guy is like bending over backwards. You know, it's on Here Comes the Boom. You know what I mean? Which if you're ever bored in the evening, watch Here Comes the Boom reaction of foreigners. It's amazing. One of the best things. They immediately like they clutch their pearls immediately. They're like, is that legal? That's like the first thing that comes out of their mouth is like they clutch and they go, is that legal? And then the first time a helmet comes off, they're like, oh, his helmet came off. And it's like, yeah, that's Sunday, baby. That's Sunday.
Hey, Crypto, there's another topic that I want to pick your brain about. And I feel like it's okay to bring up Jimmy Garoppolo again. Like we gave him I feel like a month or two hiatus where nobody wanted to talk about Jimmy, but it feels like training camp's right around the corner. We're going to have to figure out what are we going to do because this dude's costing $27 million. I would have already been cut him. Crypto, you know my stance. I've been saying Jimmy has no trade value for over a year now, and that obviously came to fruition. I don't expect a trade to happen at this point. I mean, do I want one? Yes, I want one because that's what's best for the Niners, right? We can get rid of Jimmy, get rid of his salary, and get a draft pick or a player for it. Absolutely. That'd be great. I don't expect that to happen. So I have a theory on what we could potentially do. I mean, I would cut him. I would have already cut him. But I want to ask you, like, how do you think this Jimmy saga is going to play out?
Okay. So for the Browns to give up Baker to the Seahawks, let's say that's going down, right? then they would have to know from the 49ers that the trade would be on, right? Because they're not going to give up Baker, who they already have under contract, whether he plays or not. They're not just going to give him up just yet. They could try and, force
they
him to
have
do.
Jacoby Brissett over there. They
Right.
have Jacoby
So,
Brissett, who started games in this league, and I'm not sure. Like, okay, I'll take Jimmy over Jacoby Brissett if I want to win, but is it a $20 million difference between Jimmy G to Jacoby Brissett? I don't know. I think personally, I would just roll with Brissett. He's already on the roster. Like, they signed him knowing Deshaun Watson, like, his contract is super light this year. Like, it explodes next year because the Browns were anticipating a suspension. And that's the reason they brought Jacoby Brissett in. So I think they're ready to roll with Brissett. I don't expect the Browns to make a trade for Jimmy Garoppolo.
So Deshaun Watson's, if he gets suspended this year, he'll get his signing bonus this year, which is, I can't remember how much they said. But then next year, he will only get the salary, because if he's suspended this year, then he won't get his salary for this year. So then next year he won't get the signing bonus, but he'll get $1 million, because essentially these 2 years will have been 1 year. That's the way I hear on the contract. So that's kind of crazy.
Okay. I don't like talking contract formalities. But I should have brought that up.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
So I just don't think that Jimmy's going anywhere until the start of the season, because I don't think anybody else is. If they can't have Jimmy in there, I don't think nobody wants to trade for Jimmy in that horrible contract. So I think if they can't get Jimmy in their facility, they're not going to move on from Baker and let somebody else get them Baker in their facility to start, trying to work. So I don't know.
Hey, look at this. Swan proposed, would you pay $12.5 million of Jimmy's salary to get a second-round pick? And what's funny, pre-show, Crypto was talking about, how much would it cost to pay to get a draft pick? And, okay, so would I pay 12.5? Okay, I got to think about what can I get for $12.5 million? Because if we cut Jimmy, right, and we don't spend any of that, that money rolls over to next year. Okay. And
we could have got Tyrann Mathieu for that.
You can get a damn good player for $12.5 million.
Yeah,
you can get two good players. You can get two good players or one stud, like potential Pro Bowler, depending on position. Not depending on edge. Yeah, I mean, edge rushers and quarterbacks are way expensive, but I mean, George Kittle's making, what is he making? Like 15, 16, and that's the best tight end in the NFL.
Defensive tackle.
That's what I'm saying. So would I pay? No, I wouldn't, Swan. I would just cut him and have the money. Like, give me the proven player. Then I can go out and get the proven player. Second round pick, I don't even know what the hell we're going to get with the second round pick. You don't know if it's going to work out.
Maybe if it was this year's draft where it was so top heavy, you know what I mean, and things are going on, you could have had a chance to get somebody who is actually, a decent second round player at any position in the second round. You know what I mean?
So dumb it down for me, Crypto. What do you think is going to happen with Jimmy G?
He's going to get cut.
He's going to get cut. I hope so. I love that. Okay, let me give you my theory, because I hope you're right, and I would have already done that. Just cut him. But let me entertain. Let me try to give you a scenario where Jimmy Garoppolo returns to the 49ers.
I'm leaving.
Please, one. Let me give you a scenario.
I'm leaving.
And let me tell you why, because I'm against it. So you got to hear me out. But the only way I would entertain it is say, you can wait as long as possible, right? Because if you cut Jimmy right before the season's going to start, because literally we can hold Jimmy all the way up until practically week 1 and then cut him and pay him a small portion, $2 million to leave. Right now, he's got to go sign with a new team, learn a new playbook. Let me tell you, learning a playbook at the quarterback position is not easy. Okay, so here's the leverage, right? Right before the season starts. Hey, Jimmy, you know what? We're thinking about cutting you. Trey Lance has looked really good. He looked good in OTAs. He's looked good in training camp. But instead of cutting you, Jimmy, why don't you restructure will restructure you down from 27 million down to 10 mil or down to 8 mil. How low can you go? We're playing limbo, but you can be the backup for our team. You already know our playbook. And because I don't think we're willing to pay him, restructure it down to 10 mil. No other team is going to pay him that. He's got to learn a playbook. Teams already have their starting quarterbacks figured out. No team's paying him more than 10 mil. So that's where I think the 49ers hold a little bit of gusto.
No.
No?
Not at all. So first thing, Sunil, if he's watching, he's trying to high-five you right now.
Swan wants to hop in here. I got to send Swan a link.
So,
ahead, my bad, Crypto.
Yeah, Sunil dropped this idea, and I raked him through the coals for this. But no, Jimmy doesn't want that. Jimmy doesn't want that whatsoever. He knows he would rather go somewhere else and be a backup quarterback because he knows at any moment and second he can shine up some of those other people that he could go be a quarterback behind, or he can get some real time. He doesn't want to be. Do you want to lose your girlfriend and then be in the same car as her and her new boyfriend, go out on a date together?
Okay, you're right. No, I don't. But let me tell you, you're Jimmy G. We'll pay you 10 mil. Some other team, whoever wants you, is willing to pay you 4 mil. You're telling me you're going to take less money just to leave?
He'll get more. He'll get
if the Niners cut him, who's paying him more than 10 mil?
The Browns.
Okay. I don't know their cap situation. Okay, we got Swan. We got Swan. I think Swan's ready to eviscerate me. I don't know.
No, I ain't
the Browns still have $30 million in cap space at the moment.
No, I feel you there, Bay Baller. I get it. But the thing is, okay, if you're Jimmy, right? He's gonna play it like this. 10 million, that's nothing, right? And I get that's probably what he's worth, but that's not how he's thinking it, right? That's not what his agent's thinking about it. He's gonna play it where he can try to get 25 million from some team, right? That's desperate, right? Whether it's Cleveland that wants one, Carolina, right? 10 million, he could, like, let's say, even if those two teams don't go for it and he just bets on himself and just sits and waits for an injury to happen, right? Let's say he waits for an injury, he can make that 10 million. If the Buccaneers, Tom Brady goes down and they're 8-1 and he's just sitting on the market, but Swan, he'll get 10 million in for 8 games.
They don't have. Who's to say the Bucs don't have 10 mil of cap space?
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
That's what that's
a good point.
The season's not at that point. The season's already started. So do you have the capital available?
Well, they could restructure. You know, teams, if they were 8-1, like, okay, think about it. There's only a few teams that are super aggressive that with the cap, like say the New Orleans Saints. Like if you look at the New Orleans Saints on over the cap, every one of their contracts has freaking void years riddled throughout everything. It's crazy.
That Taysom Hill contract's a joke.
Dude, I'm telling you this. The way that the NFL works right now, it's communism. And don't get all crazy on me. What I mean by communism is that everyone has a shared revenue, right? Not everyone spends like crazy. It might seem like they do, but they don't spend like New Orleans. If you want to look at a team that it spends like crazy, New Orleans is crazy. They don't give a F. The Niners, if they wanted to, could go crazy. They could add so many players if they wanted to over leverage everything. Sure, their window would be small. It would be shorter because now you freeze. The thing why the Saints really haven't gotten away with it. They lost Teron Armstead, dude. Like everyone says that, salary cap doesn't exist. Dude, it does. It's just how you use it. They lost a
pass rusher. They lost Hendrickson too.
Yeah, and they've been lucky in a way that they haven't had many crippling injuries. Like if they had,
they lost their starting quarterback last year. James
right,
went down for the year.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is he's coming back. He's playing, right? So it's not that, and he wasn't on a deal yet. But you know what I'm saying? But like on some of these deals that they leverage their voided years, they don't have what's that guy? The guy that we got from KC, the one D Ford.
Sure.
They don't have D Ford situations, but if they did, they would be boned because those contracts you would eat all that dead money. That's the thing. It's if you play that game, you are gambling big time. You're hoping that the players do not get injured because once those players get injured, you're boned. And it's rigid. It makes your roster rigid.
I was saying that all last year about the Rams, how their depth was bad, but guess what? They're top dogs.
Yeah, and
Donald, and Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp. These guys stayed healthy. Jalen Ramsey, I mean, the top dogs stayed healthy. So
yeah, and they've been lucky. And the thing about it though is the Rams are in a very unique situation. Is because never will you. Well, it's very rare that you'll see two guys that are the best that's ever played the position, arguably, on the same team, on the same defense. Right? You can make a case for Jalen Ramsey being one of the best of all time. Can you not? And hell, you can make that argument for Aaron Donald for sure.
For sure,
right?
Yeah, you can do it for Donald.
I
would make 1,000 arguments against Ramsey, but you
probably
could.
Say top 10.
Top 10, yeah. You could definitely.
You know what I mean? You can make that argument, right? So then, like the thing is, the Rams, what they're also lucky is too. The Rams, how they dodge this is that they only pay a few players a lot of money, right? So they can go crazy on the cap on these few players, hope to pray that they don't get injured, which that's been happening. And then any of their other scrub players get hurt, you don't hear anything about it because they plug and play another person because they're in such a unique situation where they have two guys on defense that literally carry that defense. But if any one of those guys gets hurt, and they've been lucky so far, what is that team going to look like, dude? What is that going to look like? But going back to the Jimmy thing, and there's a lot of hidden cap that people can use if they wanted to. They could restructure contracts, add void years to the cows come home, and they can make up that cap because no one is as aggressive as the Saints, right? No one is as aggressive as the Saints. So, I mean, the reason why you don't see the Niners doing it, there's two reasons. One, we don't know what we have in Trey Lance, right? So you can't go all in on something that you don't know about. It's just not wise because then you could blow up the dynasty that you're creating.
You understand what I'm saying? Talking about Lance not going all in on Lance. No. They went all in on Lance.
No. What I mean by going all in to help Lance. Like, this offseason, we could have gotten all these top players if we wanted to. You could restructure Trent Williams, get rid of Jimmy G, restructure all these to have the New Orleans Saints type of contracts. We could have done all that. But the problem is when you do that, you are going all in, and if you miss, you just blew up your team, dude. You literally just imploded your team. And the Saints don't care because they're playing right now
That's why Sean Payton dipped out. Sean Payton saw the writing on the wall, and he's like, I'm out of here. I'm going to do some other bullshit for a year or two, and then I'm going to come back to the NFL, but I'm going to be on a different team.
Yep, exactly. And the thing about it, too, is I also think that was the play for the little small man's disease guy down south in LA Rams. You know, dude, that guy suffers from small man's disease. You know what I'm talking about, baby.
They went after it. Yeah, if it didn't go well.
If he didn't do it, he was already talking about going into media and all this bullshit. It's like, dude, that dude, if I've ever seen a small man disease, it's that dude, right? And if they didn't win it,
when he ran on the fucking field, Swan, he ran on the field to celebrate with the Rams, and correct me if I'm wrong, was that week 17? That was the game we beat them?
That was week 17, bro.
Right? And he ran on the field. The Rams have the lead. He's jumping up and down. The guy thought the game was over. And I was so fucking furious. I was like, this motherfucker wants to run on the field. He thinks the game is over. He's celebrating. Go after him. And they did that. And that's when we kicked their butt in the second half. But
I'm telling you this how it is.
Laugh, but I don't like that Sean Payton.
Dude, I don't like him, dude. Even if he was a Niner, I'd be talking shit about him, dude. Because I don't like that.
I want to get Crypto in here. He's been too quiet. Crypto, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think he's a ornery, disgruntled little leprechaun.
Yeah.
But no, Jimmy sucks. I really don't want to talk about him. No, Rams suck. Yeah.
Okay,
kind of
okay. Going back to my proposal, the Jimmy proposal, right? Okay, I get what you're saying, baller. Roll over that money. It's huge because that 12.5 becomes actually 25, right? Because not only you're carrying the free cap space, but your limit cap for 1 year goes up with the amount you save. But it can only be used for 1 year, right? Then it disappears again, right?
Are we buying a timeshare?
Yeah. That's what, dude. Check it out. So let's say the cap next year is 225, and we carry over 25. Not only do we have that 25 free, but now our cap limit for that year and that year only is now 250. Where other people's cap limit is 225, we'll have a 250, but it's only going to be used for that year. But check this out. What the 49ers would, you don't know what they would do though. What they could easily do is front load contracts to take up that cap. Right? Because that's money that they would have to pay anyways. And then they'd fill up the cap. It would make them more healthy cap-wise. But if you bring in other players, now you're adding actual real money. And this is why I'm skeptical of that. Because I think the 49ers, okay, the way that I read the 49ers, and one of the reasons why I think the Debo deal always gets done at a certain time, and I was thinking this earlier, one of the things that the Debo deal hasn't got done yet, and they always wait, is because where does Jed get his juice other than football? And it's arguable that he gets his juice from being a investor. Jed wants to think that he is like this Silicon Valley investor dude. He hobnobs with these types of people. One of the reasons why I know that is like I had a buddy in the gaming community that was my buddy 20, 30 years ago. He owns now Flickr, right? His name is One Thumb, Don McCaskill. He used to have SmugMug. I don't know if you guys remember that service. He ended up buying Flickr, blah, blah, blah. He's on my Facebook. We're Facebook friends too. So guess what? I saw a picture of him and Jed.
That's legit. If you're Facebook friends, that's legit.
Yeah, so it's like I know this guy since I was in my 20s. We were Quake buddies, right? Not like I would not like we're close where he's giving me a free Flickr account. I would never ask him anyways. But anyways, let's just go with that. And it's funny because I see Jed hobnobbing with all these Silicon Valley dudes, right? Silicon Valley elites. So part of Jed's juice is not just the Niners. It's about his financial thing, right? So if you plan a business, right, and if you have all your money, even though you're a billionaire, and you have all your investments put one way or the other way or this way, you are control of your money. You know where your money's going to be. You know when you're going to get it, et cetera, et cetera. So when you sign new contracts at a certain time, you have to take out money that you didn't plan for at that time. But if you plan for that money to be spent at a certain time, then you've already you guys kind of get what I'm saying here.
Swan, you can be my insurance salesman. I'll buy your healthcare plan. I mean, it sounds like you got the contracts down.
But what I'm just saying is that their juice is not just the 49ers, right? Like I don't get me wrong. Jed is better than his dad, right? Because I don't think that his dad cared at all, right? I don't think his dad cared at all. I think Jed cares more than his dad, but at the same time, I think Jed it's not just all Niners for him, in my opinion, right? And
I think they just bought like a soccer team too.
And that's and didn't they say publicly that they wanted to tighten the belt? Didn't they say something like that? Did they not say something
Lynch,
like that?
I think it was Lynch. Lynch was like, we've been spending big the last few years. Like, I think he kind of implied it in a press conference.
Right.
I think that's what you're referring to.
Yeah. So, like, dude, why would you say, like, dude, when it comes, do you think any team that's doing this for the juice of just winning Super Bowls are saying stuff like that? You would say,
hey, man, we're watching the Golden State Warriors, who are actually playing in San Francisco, spend buku bucks to win championships.
Yeah.
All right. So it's like this, when I say this fan base, I know there's a correlation
I'll
between
give them-
Warriors
yeah.
fans and 49ers fans. But we've seen how an owner who wants to win
Yes,
acts.
you're right. And we've seen it on the 49ers in the past. And the thing about it is, I'll give them
Uncle
I'll give
D's
them
gone. Uncle D's
I'll give
gone,
them
though.
the pass this year. I get it. I give them the pass this year because they don't know what Trey Lance is. I get it. You can't go all in right now. You can't go in all in right now and risk the future for that, right? I get it. But if Lance shows out this year, and if next year we're not crazy aggressive, bro, we better be pissed as fans.
Hey, this is where we're ending the show. I want to talk about expectations for this season coming up. Are we making the playoffs? Is this a Super Bowl caliber team? I want to go around. We'll end it on this topic. And Crypto, why don't you start us off? What are your expectations for this season? Is this a Super Bowl caliber team?
I think if you get the 49ers in the playoffs, they can be a Super Bowl caliber team. Can we get in the playoffs? That'll be remains to be seen yet. You know what I mean? Like I have a feeling we can, and I have a feeling we will, but it's a shot in the dark. Excuse me.
Swan, what you thinking?
I think this is a Super Bowl caliber team, but I will go on the caveat that I would not be disappointed if this team, for one reason, I will not be disappointed if this team does not make the playoffs. I won't call it a failure. If I see Trey Lance better than he is in week 17 than he is on week 1 and shows flashes of his greatness, and that at the end of the week 17 we go, he's our dude, he's our guy, right? Then I don't care what the record is, I will be happy with that. But I think both can happen. I'm not saying that the other thing can happen, because I think both can happen. I think he could do that, and we can make a long run. I think that can happen.
I think we can win a Super Bowl, Swan.
Yeah.
And Crypto, I think this is a Super Bowl caliber team, and I expect our team to get better and better as the season goes on, as Lance gains more experience. If we can get into the playoffs, I think we're going to be dangerous. I expect this defense to be a top 5 defense.
I'm excited, dude.
In the NFL. And now I expect Lance to be an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. So if I'm expecting an excellent defense and an upgrade at the quarterback position, and last year we already made the playoffs. We made the NFC Championship game. So if I'm expecting those two facets of the game, defense and quarterback, to take a leap, I mean, come on. How could I not say this is a Super Bowl caliber team? And it's let me know, Crypto.
The reason why I think if we get into the playoffs, we're a contender, is the fact that we're so physical on both sides of the ball. And you're talking about late in the season, people, there's some people on that team, even though they want to go to the Super Bowl and this and that, do they really want to go to the Super Bowl when it hurts? You know what I mean? Like when I wrestled, there's some people who, you get pinned and they'll just let their shoulder fall to the mat because they're done fighting. Okay. They're in a bad situation. Maybe it hurts and they just let their shoulder hit the ground. Boom. They're pinned. It's over. The guy gets up and he walks back. So some people like that, I'm sure some people quit in the middle of 49ers playoff games because the 49ers never stop. You know what I mean? They never let up.
So check this out. What I'm really excited to, besides of course Trey Lance, because that's the main thing, but I'm excited to, if this, what you were talking about earlier, if the defense plays more man, right? And we have that pass rush, because one of the things about playing zone is that it's safe. I get it. You playing the numbers game, right? And with a pass rush, you can get away with it. You can play safe because you hope the pass rush gets there. But when all things are in sync, when you play press man with a deadly pass rush, dude, that is a recipe where you make quarterbacks, like even good ones, look silly. Remember back in the Vic Fangio days, and that's why I brought it up, when we both had more press man coverage and a pass rush? Dude, there was good quarterbacks that couldn't get shit completed. How many games did we watch where the quarterback looks like they're getting nothing done, right? Our offense is solid. I mean, our defense is solid during these Salah, D'Amico Ryan years.
It also
It's
helped
been
we had a
solid,
shitload
but
of talent, right? When you
yes,
got Justin
right.
Smith, Alden Smith, Ahmad Brooks,
You're right.
Ray
But-
McDonald, that also makes everything easier.
But when I see our D line, I'm not saying it's as freaky good as that team, but it's not that redheaded stepchild. It's close, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that when you start doing those things, because although these defenses have been solid, we've only been dominant at one position, and that is Bosa's position. That's it, right? Where if we start looking,
they drafted every year,
yeah. If we start looking like if the press man is working and we have the defensive pass rush, you're gonna see shit like, dude, where offenses again won't be freaking getting like what the Rams did to us in the NFC Championship, where we couldn't get them off the field. We could not get them off the field. How many third down conversions did they make? Dude, that's the only problem with zone defenses. When your pass rush is not getting there and you're just giving up freebies.
It's conservative. Yeah, it's like
zone you can't do shit like about it.
Don't break. You're playing bend, don't break.
You're hoping the numbers.
It's your trying to force a 3 and out. You want to get them off the field.
You're hoping
you're praying for zones. You're hoping they make a mistake.
You're hoping.
Ball.
Yes,
it's a bad
exactly.
pass.
Exactly.
We should be running zones. We should be running zones on like run downs because it keeps your back when you're in a zone. You're not turning your back on the play and running back to your spot. You're back paddling to your spot. And while you're doing that, you can see if it's a run or not.
Dude,
I see it playing a lot more zone on run downs and man to man on those passing downs to really clamp down on those wide receivers and make those quarterbacks hold on to the ball more.
And you know what's crazy? D'Amico can do it all. He can go crazy. He can trick people. He can switch it up. He can play man on first down, zone on, as long as he can. If we can do that, we're adding another dimension that we're going to be able to trick people, and then we have that pass rush going. Dude, I'm telling you, it could look crazy good this year. If Traverse Ward is the real deal, and if we get Verrett back, it's a fucking wrap. If we get him back the way he was at 2020, it's a fucking wrap, dude. It's a
I think D'Amico has figured out how to get those blitzes home now. You know what I mean? In the beginning of the season, I don't think it was there, and then at the end of the season, we were seeing him blitz, and we were getting results off those blitzes.
Dude. He
looping in even the stunts, not only the blitzes, but the stunts. I'm not a big fan of stunting defensive line. I like them to win in a more traditional facet, but there is something for a well-timed stunt.
Yeah.
The DNs looping in through the middle and the D tackles going out to pick off a tackle. But you know what? We hit that hour mark. I want to go. Crypto, why don't you give any final thoughts, any last thing you want to share about the 49ers? Shout out your channel, and then we'll hit Swan.
All right. Go Faithful. Appreciate y'all. Come hit us up at No Border Sports. Also subscribe to Amin the Dream. Get him to 1,000 subs. Yeah.
Dude, thanks
Swan, you got plug your Twitter or something, Swan. We got to get the followers up.
I'm just on here, man. It's cool. I thank you for bringing me in. I just had to talk at that point. I was like, man, I got something to say. I had to talk, and thanks for bringing me in. And you guys are keep
at
on
Swan
doing
Song NC.
Yeah, and you guys keep on doing your thing, dude. And I'm just here, watching the wheels.
Hey, thank you guys for coming by. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna come at you again soon. You never know what I'm gonna hit you with. The Hufanga videos have been out. Check out those Hufanga videos if you haven't, because so far what I've seen, and I got last thing I'll touch on is Hufanga, because I've watched the 3 starts that he had. Week 8 versus the Bears, Week 9 versus the Cardinals, and Week 10 against the Rams. And Week 8 versus the Bears, he was lights out. He's making plays all over the field. Tackles for losses. He's manned up on Cole Kmet. Didn't give up an inch of separation. Pass breakup. He was phenomenal. But then the next week against the Cardinals, he was bad. There's no way around it. But the thing is, Jimmy Ward was out that week, so he's playing with Tavon Wilson. But both of those games, the video's up. So check that out. And then Week 10 against the Rams, I haven't put out a video on it yet, but I watched the tape. And I thought he was all right. He was solid week 10. But I will say, and I'll leave you with this, I'm not sure he's better than Jaquiski Tart, but let's see. Again, these are his first 3 starts of his NFL career. So hopefully there's an upward trajectory. But I'm going to leave you guys with that one. Thanks for coming by.